Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Giselle Koy podcast. So good to see you all here. We have a great show today. I have a great personal friend, an amazing woman, Ann Webb. I ran into her the other day, and our story is so incredible. I'm like, we got to do a podcast. So here we are today, bringing you just this beautiful story of beautiful friends on our journey with the whole theme of highest outcomes happening in both of our lives. So we have a great story to tell, and I can't wait to tell it. And first of all, everyone say hello to Ann. Hi, Ann.
Hi, guys.
It's so good to have you. And if you don't know Ann, she is an international skincare business person. She's an entrepreneur. She started years ago. Creating her own skincare line. She's had different iterations. She was once the spokesperson for Skincare International, Whole Foods. She's built many brands. She's sold many brands. She's still creating. She's still at the top of her game in the skincare industry, and it's just an honor to have her here today. So we want to tell that story, right, Ann?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it because it looks so fun from the outside, and then let's tell everybody what really happened. So I'm going to start when we met 10 years ago, and I'm just going to go ahead and start with the whole story. And that was me laying on your table. You had this cute bun in your hair, and you came in, and you were giving me a facial. And I just met you a couple of weeks ago, and I knew that you're super magic. You were just amazing. And then you walked out of the room for a minute, and you came back in, and you were just like white as a sheet. I'm like, uh-oh, what happened? And you went, I don't know. I think I just got fired. And you were just like shaking up. And I'm like, what? And she said, yeah. And she said, there's this thing going on, and we're just going to not go into any details, but something happened, and it really catapulted you into this state. And I'm like, whoa, maybe this is a good thing. And that's where we began sort of becoming each other's first clients, because I'm like, Ann, you are so talented. This is like a message from God. This is like part of your destiny, that you're supposed to start your own skincare line, because it's that time, and you are already inventing your own formulas. Half the time when you're doing facials, you're going to look, I'm going to use this formula that I made up, that I used. You've been cooking and conjuring and alchemizing and doing that probably your whole life. And so it was like kind of one of those moments. It's just one of those moments. And I want to hear it from your point of view.
Okay, cool. Well, the first thing, I have so much I want to say, but I definitely want to start off by saying that I think we definitely had that immediate kinship between each other. I remember after the first time I saw you, because I lost my job at our second meeting. We had that facial 2 weeks prior to that.
That's right.
Yes, and you were supposed to be in there for an hour, but I think I kept you in there for 2 hours, just hoping that some of your beauty would like rub off on me, you know? And I remember even back then, you just started sucking that out of me, those stories, and I didn't want you to leave the table, and you didn't want to leave. So I think that's how we got to be so close so fast. Yeah, I lost that job, hands down, and it was a good job. Just as I had been starting to gain some momentum in Austin. And I lost that job for being me, because I was a moonlighter for people that couldn't afford to pay. I'd see them at home for $10 or free or whatever I felt like for the day. I gave away product for free. I wasn't charging what I was supposed to be charging. I was doing a lot of that stuff, you know. I was in my early 20s, so just a kid at the time. And it was very traumatic for me. That day when I met you, prior to that, I just went home and started putting together resumes. Thank God, I don't know if you remember, but you booked the next week to come see me at my house. You're like, where are you? Where are you? I'm like, I'm at home crying my eyes out. And that was when you walked in and you're like, lay on the couch, lay on the couch, lay on the couch. I'm like, well, honestly, I thought maybe we could talk about people you knew in Austin that might, you know, need a therapist. But you're like, I've been thinking about this all week, and I'm here to tell you, you cannot go to work for someone else, because you will continue to get yourself in trouble. You have to build a model and build something for yourself that allows you to be you on a daily basis.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
Right now, yes. Right now, that was what I call a destiny moment. Okay. So in that moment, the situation lined up. so that you got to make these choices. Your higher self came in, made these choices like, all right, she's right. I'm going to go for it. You already knew that. It was already in your field. You already knew that that was part of it. You just probably weren't ready for it then.
Yes.
And on my side of the fence, it's like I've been doing this all my life, like seeing people's higher version that they have not yet seen and saying, hey, wait a minute, you have this whole other future, this whole other career trajectory, expanded goal achievement in front of you that you're not seeing, that you should look at, maybe think about that. So in that moment, it was like a mutual activation, I would say.
I think so too. I think, at that time, I had to charge $65 for a treatment. But I remember saying to you, man, if I could just charge $45, I grew up so poor. I can't even imagine what it would be like to make $50 an hour. There's nobody on the planet at my age that will pay me $50 an hour. And I remember saying, do you think people will think I'm too cheap? And you're like, no, you got to do what's in your heart. You got to do what feels good. And I did. I charged $45 an hour. And all these years later, I still charge the same price. And my 54 employees. Yeah, 54. Wow. Yeah. 26 therapists. We still charge the same price.
How can you even do that? How can that even be possible?
So what I learned quickly on is that it became what I call the sweet spot price. So you were used to paying $65 for a badass treatment, right? Chest, neck, face. Okay. I had a feeling that you would come in, and if I really did a good job for you, you would probably leave that $20 as a gratuity because you were used to paying it. And now I left room for you to leave a really good gratuity, and that feels good inside of our hearts. And then I thought, well, now you're at 65, and if I do an affordable product line, you'll get to leave with 2 to 3 little things. So now you got a badass facial, face, neck, and chest. You left a good gratuity, and you got 3 products for $100. And it's like you leave out and you hit every little emotion you needed to hit. And then I just had to do the rest topically.
Well, you know what else? You also educated, because a lot of the skincare products that you sold us, they were the same products that were on the shelf at the major department stores. You kind of educated me in that whole game. So I was thinking, I still had this idea that, man, if I could just buy the La Prairie line, that'd be $1,000 for the whole line, and my skin would look so good. And if I could just treat myself to that, when actually I learned that there's nothing in those products, you were actually outdoing those products with the
yes, I was making them. Yes, it is shocking. Now, you don't ever want to cut down another person's brand on too many levels because, they have marketing and staff and they all start.
Yes, of course.
Yes. And for me, when I made my very first batch, I know you remember this, I labeled a bunch of samples. I put it in little white paper bags. I lined it up and down the staircase and I said, y'all come get it. And I just left the door unlocked and people literally opened my front door, took a bag. I put like 50 bags out there and it was gone instantly. So my marketing plan and my strategy and my word of mouth is just so much different than an international brand. And as you start to spin your margins in different categories, you leave yourself to different options. For me, affordability was number one. It had to feel good. Remember you said that. What feels good? Well, I can't sell expensive products. I was discounting the products and I got fired because I was always trying to finagle some way to make it cheaper. For me, not even for them. You didn't care, right? You were happy to pay that. You were happy to pay the money. It was about me. It didn't feel good to me. So if I made something that felt good to me, then everybody else would feel good too.
And you're still doing it and it still works. And I also love the way you really went after the acne market. It wasn't just like beauty products. You really went after that segment of the market who had skincare problems. I remember for years, you were like the go-to expert if you had a problem. And that's huge.
My girls are too. So my program in Austin was $0 up to $35 for children. Well, anybody suffering with acne. We will never, I want to make that straight. We will never, ever turn down anybody that's suffering, right? But I learned early on, if I could charge $0, but no one came. But if they could pay $10 or be a model, hey, come be our model. We need these before and after pictures to show other people that we can make them better too. Then that works. But in our clinic, we have every single modality that I can legally get my hands on that helps with acne. And they pay one fee, $0 to $35. And then I take that whole amount minus $5 and give it to the therapist. I tell my therapist, you never have to take anybody home to be treated here. You never have to lie. You never have to be afraid of giving something away. If you turn around and you give a product to someone in need, I will promote you higher up into the company. Never in the world are you going to suffer with what I internally suffered with, you know, right from wrong, right from wrong.
And that's so good. I mean, you still give stuff away. I still always leave feeling like I won just by coming to your shops.
Yeah.
Win games. So wonderful. You know, I guess it shows that there is no such thing as an over giving, especially in the beauty business. It seems to really work in that area because you so rarely see that philosophy.
Exactly. It's so shocking to me when still today I travel around the world. I'll walk into a spa, everybody's sitting behind a counter like this. They stand up, they don't smile, and it's just, you have that one chance. I tell my girls, you have one chance to make sure that Giselle Koy never in her entire life wants to see anybody else unless she's desperate. And you live in 2 states, right? Like we do now. You have that one chance. And that's how I wanted to make you feel about me that day, all those years ago. Like, no, this is it. I'm done. She is my girl.
Okay, but you do that with everyone. And I also want to say, we're not talking about any other places, but yeah, why is it the beauty industry can be so, I mean, with all the med spas happening, it's really, the environments of those places is really challenging. It's like the opposite of being graciously received and nurtured. And, you know, people feel vulnerable going in to get anything done. Spending money.
Yes.
Vulnerable, like, I shouldn't even be here. I should be at home working, but I'm going to get a facial. And you're already like on edge. And so that attitude really comes off so well, and your place is so warm. Yes.
You know, the last time, sometimes I make my employees cry because I give out tough love, and it's real quick. But I remember the last time I made someone cry, I walked in, and the new person didn't recognize me, which is not a problem because, you know, I look pretty rough at work. But she did not stand up for me. And I looked at her and across the room and I said, you stand up right now. And I walked up and I said, let me give you a hug and then I will explain to you. When that door opens and someone comes through it, it is an honor that they are in our establishment. And the very minimal that we're going to do is stand up to show them that appreciation. My husband has been standing up at a table for me my entire life. It felt so good the day I met him. I was love at first sight. He stood up. In our clinic, we stand up. It's an honor when you walk in the door. Stand up.
And when your husband stands up, that's like 7 feet of husband.
Yeah, so it was a real big impression.
Yeah, Sam's awesome. Shout out to Sam. Sam is such a wonderful man. I'm so happy that I know him through you too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
good.
Attorney, massage therapist, esthetician, manicurist, a little bit of everything. He's got all the licenses.
Great team. Okay, so Ann, let's talk a little bit about your story.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, your story is a really huge part of where you are. I think part of your drive is it's just this comes from you and your perspective. Your perspective comes from never having access to this, never having access to any of this world, like that being totally out of that. So you're kind of still like someone who just feels privileged to walk into this world, and you still have that attitude.
Absolutely, incredibly grateful. Still clean the toilets at the company all the time. Yeah, so my story. Okay, the short version is I grew up in a really small town called Gaydon, Louisiana. Population back then was probably 1,200. Now it's about 1,000. My mother passed away when I was a year old. She died of a massive heart attack at 36. My dad couldn't read or write, but he was like the town vet. My dad healed animals. The pharmacist was very good friends with him, so we got the drugs from the pharmacist. We healed animals. My dad had been making me heal things since I was a really little girl, but we grew up incredibly poor, and with this magnetic father. He was amazing. My dad raised roosters and dogs for a living, and these were prize animals. And when they would get sick, the animals would get sick, everybody would bring the animals to our house. And my dad would take the animals inside of our house. So you can only imagine that I lived in a bacteria, fungal infected environment with no hot water and no AC. So starting probably from the age of 9, I had horrific acne. And that acne, plus being poor, brought me into this category of being considered like one of the ugliest girls in my class. So it was daily bullying, horrific bullying, just a real, I don't know, tough life, a tough life. And I actually hid all that pain by starting my own company, being very successful at the age of 15, 16, still with a lot of acne, but I was able to put a ton of makeup on it and cover it at night because I was a DJ along with my daddy. He would help me carry all the stuff in, and just kind of clawed my way up from there. But working a 7-day week at all hours of the night is something I've been doing since I was probably 7 or 8 years old. It was very natural to me. And so then as business picked up and it just required more work and more hours, it was easy. It wasn't always easy, but and that's kind of what happened, like working my way out of that small town, then getting a college degree, being the only person in my family getting a college degree, having scholarships for running my mouth. Like that's what I did. I'm a speaker, and it worked. I didn't ever think I would be a skincare guru. I didn't imagine myself making my own skincare line. But as I got away from that environment with my father and met several really important people, Dr. Brent Schillinger, Dr. Jason Posner, Sergio Maggi. These are some people that really shaped my life and taught me another side. And I became addicted to that world. And that wasn't always positive, like it wasn't the smoothest road ever. I've certainly made some mistakes in those categories. But once I started to learn how to clear up my own skin my own way, the world was, just waiting for me at that point. Does that make sense? Did I give you enough?
Skin is
it's a long story, so if I miss something, go ahead, ask me.
Well, here's what's fascinating. Skin is like really incredibly complex. If people knew how to take care of their skin, they wouldn't. It's a billion-dollar industry because there's so much mystery and science to it. And so did you do a lot of scientific study, or was this kind of like a natural talent you had? Because it is complicated.
Well, I think that you can lean on every industry and pull little nuggets to make you successful in this. I tell my girls all the time, I didn't have YouTube. I can pull up YouTube today and watch 100 videos on just about anything I want to learn with injectables. That's what I do most of my time is cosmetic injections. No one taught me. I had to like crawl my way through, to learn all the things that we have instant access to. So I think for me, it was a natural. But then I also was a sponge. And I was also that girl that said, me. The girl that always lifts her hand in class. I want to learn, pick me. So I literally leaned on Dr. Schillinger and everything he taught me. And then I'd say, okay, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What's this? How do you do that? What's the mixture? And then sometimes when the doctors would leave the room, I'd look at everything. I was super nosy. And then I would come and try it out. And guess what? When you charge $10, you get to see a lot of people. And when you get to see a lot of people, you get to be an incredible badass. So by me lowering my rates, I just got better and better. I was booked every single hour of the day, as many days that I wanted to work. You need faces. You need people. And you need people to be able to afford to come back to get the help they need.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
I read stuff. I read everything I could get my hands on. And now I get to watch a lot of cool videos and all that stuff. But, before then it was just trying it out.
Hey, tell everyone how you came to develop your own school to train people. Like you have, I met someone the other day. I was at Whole Foods. No, where was I? And she said, well, my boyfriend gave me a gift. I'm going to learn how to do eyelash extensions. And I can't wait. I'm going to the Ann Webb Academy. And I went, what? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, right? Okay, so we own the largest academy in the world, 120 something students in the school right now, learning things that Nobody teaches together, maybe in like 5 or 6 places, but we just stuck it all in one building. This is the coolest story ever. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
So I'd been practicing with doctors for years without a license. Okay. Then I get that job that I met you at, and I beat out 32 people. And I didn't even have the license yet. I just pretended like the license was about that I had it, but it was actually going to come in the mail next month type thing. Okay. But it didn't matter because what came out of my mouth sounded really smart about my topic. Okay, cool. After years later becoming successful, I decided, hold on, let me backtrack. What I want to say is when it came time for me to go to school, it's so exciting. I paid $1,800 cash for schooling, right? Walked in, said, I went to the lowest graded school in town. I had already been practicing for years. I wanted to get out quick, and I needed a place that would let me go like 10 hours a day. So I finished my schooling in 3 months and 2 weeks for $1,800. Okay, fast forward however many years later, one of my employees is in the corner crying. And I'm like, what's going on, baby girl? And she said, I got expelled from school today for the second time, and I don't think they're letting me come back. I'm like, what? I didn't even know you could get expelled from skincare school, esthetician school. She's like, yeah, today I actually was treating acne on somebody. And at the end of the extractions, which I hate, right? Making holes in people's face, hate that. You have to mix up an oatmeal mask and put it on the person's face. And I'm working on the owner's son. And last week they changed out the bottles. The spray water, they put alcohol in them. So I mixed up an oatmeal mask full of alcohol. I don't know why she didn't smell it. Maybe it's the owner's son. She was nervous. Put it over the extractions. And he got so up in arms, yelling, get it off, get it off. She froze and she couldn't take it off. Someone had to push her out the way and they had to take it off, okay? She got expelled for that. And they weren't going to let her go back to this school. And then she says, I've already paid for my $500 microdermabrasion class this weekend, and now I'm at $15,500. I'm like, wait. What do you say this whole thing again? She's like, yeah, I've already paid $15,000 for school, and I gave them the $500, and I'm not sure they're going to let me go to the advanced class. And I was like, wait a second, how in 6 or 7 years, 8 years, did school go from $2,000 to $15,000?
Yeah, no kidding.
So I opened up a school in 3 weeks. Oh, that's 3 weeks for $6,000 and had only 7 students. A lot of them still work for me today. And now I think school's $12,000, but that's medical aesthetics and lasers and this and that. I mean, we have branched out. Largest school, we teach them everything you could imagine in my way, like hands-on, get in there, right? And so it started from the punchline, though, is that Ann Webb truly believes if you are going to push something out of your skin or you're going to allow somebody to make a hole from the top to the bottom, you better hope that you put something on it after that's really going to kill bacteria. So I think what she did by putting alcohol on it was 100% right.
Wow.
Right. And I still tell that story, and I still teach my students, if you're going to make a hole in someone's skin, you better not stick something in it like oatmeal that could be full of food-grade fungus and bacteria. Totally. You want to put something in it that shuts the hole down and kills the bacteria. So poor baby girl, I had to open a school so I could straighten these people out.
That's so awesome. So awesome.
120 girls now.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Thanks.
Yeah, I want to go back to some of the things that story reminded me of. Do you remember the time that I insisted? Well, first of all, remember we had that conversation, and I called you up, and no, you called me, and we said, "Hey, why don't we get an oxygen machine?" I mean, this is before. Look how far you've come. You own every laser possible. You own everything. Yes. But remember when that was a big deal that we were going to own an oxygen machine, and you got one?
Yes.
Like you were the first person that had one. I think you were the very first person.
It was big. I want to show it. I'll get now it's real little. Oh, you can get them, right? For $120, and it's real little. You keep it in your bathroom now. Pure oxygen.
Oh.
Let me get them.
Yeah, let me see that.
Girls. Oxygen machine, please. It's little.
Wow.
It's little and it's awesome. You just put it in your bathroom and look, I sprayed my skin this morning. You see it?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Times have changed. Sorry, what were you gonna say? I got excited.
We're gonna need to see that oxygen machine for sure. No,
They're bringing it.
I was laughing at the time when I don't know what I was thinking, but I asked you to do a laser on my leg to like add some spots or something. And
I think I asked you, but yes. Yeah, we asked each other, right?
we asked you, and then we got in there and something happened and I ended up like these tiger stripes on my legs for like, I don't know, for a while.
Yeah, circles.
Circles. I was polka dotted leg for about a year.
Come say hello. Look at this.
Whoa.
Let's make sure we catch it right. You want the brand?
Yeah.
The brand is called Air Away Micromolecule Oxygen Machine. And you get this cool little guy.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. I finally got the good light. So you get this little nozzle, and you got to be careful what you put in there. It can't be too thick, but you literally spray it like an airbrush makeup. Titi, come say hello, girl. Look, she runs all of Houston. Baddest therapist I've ever come across in my life. Sorry, everybody. Sorry about that. Facts.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. That is crazy, right? It used to be this big.
And like $2,000, and we're like, get a moving van, get some oxygen in here, and now look.
Yes. Can I tell the story about your legs? You may not remember it all the way I know it, but I know it better than anybody because it was so traumatic. What happened is I was going down the street to get laser hair removal treatments on my legs for $300 a session. And I had been doing well now, right, in my house. And my front desk girl said, you know, you should just buy your own laser. I'm like, look it up on eBay. So on eBay, she pulls up this big, chunky looking, ugly machine for $28,000. Huge. People were dumping. They were dumping these machines. Nobody wanted them anymore. They were big and ugly. And I just looked at her and I said, buy it. Buy it. And we bought that machine. Now, you know, after a few years, I figured out that that was the best machine that still today has ever been made. I own several. They never break. I still have them from all those years ago because as they made the machine smaller and smaller, they started breaking and overheating more. And then all of a sudden, everybody wanted the large machines. And I wasn't selling mine. I've never sold it. I've had it all this time. What happened is there's a dynamic cooling system on the machine to make it comfortable, to make the treatment comfortable for you. It's called cryogen. And you were so important to me. And cryogen is expensive. It was $80 a can that I was like, oh, she's coming in. Let's turn up the cryogen because I want it to be so cold when I spray it on your legs. And you got what was called a cryogen abrasion. It picked up the tan off of your legs. And then later when it peeled off, it was white. And you had to live that way all summer long while it returned back to color. All those years ago, you barely knew me and you still came back.
I know.
I was trying to make it more comfortable and in return, but man, I sure never made that mistake again.
Well, but you know what? Also, like so much of what we did, Ann, was experimentation with each other. We were both working on our crafts. Like, you know, I fully knew that I was asking you to experiment on me. I was like all in.
Yes. Yeah, you knew. You came into the dungeon where, yeah, you remember. It was so heavy we couldn't get it upstairs. We had to roll it through the garage.
So crazy. Okay, so let's turn it around and let's talk about some of your high moments. Like for me, I remember when you had all your bottles. I remember when you got into Whole Foods. I remember when you sold that whole line. Tell me from your point of view what your highlights have been. Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you see it? I brought it for you today. Let's see. This is how I got it. So this is who I was.
Yes. That's on the shelf. I just saw that on the shelf at Wheatsville.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's still like in 4,000 locations. That was Skin by Ann Webb. And now here I am today, all hotsy-totsy medical. Just straight up Ann Webb like Ann Taylor. One of the things she says, you have such a great name. Ann Webb, Ann Taylor. You're destined to be famous. Anyway, it was super cool. You can really get inside somebody's head, Giselle. Okay, so the question was?
Highlights.
Okay, highlights. Let's see. Highlights was probably having the global buyer of Whole Foods Market call me and say, hey, I watched that news report that you did saying you would help people with acne. And I've had severe acne since I was 9 years old and I was bullied. and I want you to come to Whole Foods and be a national spokesperson. We need you guys. We need you. And I'm like, holy crap, I hung up the phone. I'm like, where's Whole Foods? I shop at HEB. I'm too poor. Okay, but yeah, so that was a huge one for me. I think, so I was always afraid, Giselle, that people wouldn't come. That was my big thing. I know it was the craziest thing, but I worked for other people for years, worried about what if no one comes. And so a highlighted moment for me was realizing that, oh my God, they're not going to stop coming. The house is full of people. Remember how we had to move to a bigger house? Yeah. Until Jackson got sick. I literally just would go into bigger houses. So that was big highlights for me. Selling the company, retiring my family, and having that ability to open the school was huge. Buying 4 homes for my different employees, that's crazy. Who does that? Like, that was amazing. Yeah, but I think it's the highlights are really, it's more big. It's knowing that I created this thing, this mission, and all these 50 girls wake up in the morning and follow it and follow the rudeness policy. Oh my God, that just knowing that I was going to actually get employees to follow the rudeness policy is probably a big highlight. And I don't know if you want me to tell what it is. Policy? It's super simple. It's written all over the building, and it basically says, here's how it works. Ann Webb is never going to allow herself, her employees, or her clients to be rude to each other. And we mean it. And if you don't understand that, we will help you to find a place that's better suited for you. Or if you're a staff member, we're going to let you go. Now, women have PMS, and sometimes everything's not perfect, and we work within some parameters. But we always know when we're dealing with someone that doesn't belong in our fit. And I've got 54 women that come to work every day, and they have to be kind to each other. And it works. It works.
And they are.
And it's nice. It feels good. Like, oh, man, everybody's going to be nice to each other today. Yeah, let's try it. Man, it's nice. Try it. Don't knock it till you try it.
Hey, I want to go back to your Whole Foods victory because I think a lot of people that have new products, I know a lot of people creating supplements. And so a lot of people that, they have a dream to create some kind of product, supplement, some kind of SKU. And, of course, the prize is, filling the Whole Foods shelf with your product. I'm working with a client who has a gluten-free cookie right now. So we're vying for that shelf space. But the point is,
overnight resets.
It's the most complicated situation I've ever heard of in my life. Yes. Anyone creating a product, getting a SKU on the shelf, how can it be so complicated?
Well, I think there's a lot of competition out there. And I think that you have to understand the politics and the company dynamics.
And the steps. There were so many steps involved.
There's a lot of steps. And I think, for us, because we're Cajuns, I grew this company with my best friend since the age of 5. Shout out to Joanna Marceau and Callie Seymour. Could not be here without them. They were just the most unreal women in the world from the beginning. But Joanna and I was shy. So that was the thing. I'd walk in and be like, holy shoot, I'm not the ugliest girl anymore. I'm actually pretty. I've got clear skin. I'm not sure. But she would walk in and she was the prettiest girl and she was homecoming queen. Just happened to want to be my best friend. And she would walk in and just give you the biggest hug, Giselle, and say, okay, girl, tell me what I need to do. What do we need to do, right? Like, what do you really want me to do? And they have specific things they want you to do. The buyers, the people on the ground, the people selling your product. If you can make that personal connection with them and make them feel really important, they just put you front and center like this. If you can't figure that out, then you're going to be in trouble, or you're going to struggle, or you might sit at the bottom where it's collecting dust. One of the things that, this would take a whole nother podcast of just talking about what made us grow from 1,029th place. We were 1,029th place nationwide with Whole Foods. 5 years later, I sold the company at number 8 in the nation. Okay. Wow. And in my book, sorry, we're not even going to tell you the name because it's not ready yet. But in the book, I listed all these crazy things we did. But one of the things that happens at Whole Foods is once a month, they have in all the stores, they have what's called overnight reset. And they only invite people in that are really hard workers, don't talk, and very serious about it because they have to get everything off the shelf, clean it, count it, and get it back up there, right? If you haven't been invited, Giselle, or your friend, to an overnight reset yet, I don't even know if I should be saying this, you're gonna stay near the bottom. Because when you get into an overnight reset and you do such a good job, your product starts moving up. Because guess who's putting all the product back on the shelf?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when you walk in with a 6'9" husband and he's like, oh, this shelf or this shelf? Which way do you want? Most reps, each company would maybe get one rep invited to an overnight reset, and they would be on rotation. So, oh, you get to come November, February, and June, right? You, Giselle. They would take me and 6 of my team members, including my husband, to every overnight reset. They let us all in. Oh, you got any more? Bring them in, bring them in, bring them in.
Wow.
We were fast. We were serious. We could stay. You stay all night long. You don't get paid. You're there all night long. And that husband of mine was moving shelves like an animal. So, my whole team got invited. And we got to know them, and they're tired. They're exhausted, So we worked really hard for them. So there's a lot of little nuggets like that within these stores. If you don't know about, you might be sitting on the outside. Come talk to me. Tell her to bring her. I'll give her all the secrets.
Well, also I was amazed to hear there's a regional distribution person. Then you're meeting with the layers upon layers of meetings upon approval process. It was I've never seen such a complex system of approvals, next level.
Listen. Don't ever. You remember Perry Fink? Never, ever mail a box of something you want to get recognized to a Whole Foods or Sprouts office. Okay? Wow. There are boxes everywhere. He used to say, come over. You want to come over and help me get rid of this stuff? And we would have to donate all this stuff in his office. And half of the stuff he never had time to open. So if you really want something to get to your buyer, you pick a cool flower shop in the area. You call them and say, hey, I'm sending you these cookies. I need them put in the flowers, and I want the flowers delivered to the buyer. And then all of a sudden there's flowers open. She doesn't have to open the box, sitting right in her face like this.
So good.
I don't know if that one was mine. That could have been Joanna's idea or Michelle's or Callie's, but who knows? We were just a bunch of powerful women, and our ideas were rolling. I'm like, hey, no mailing the boxes. They don't open those boxes. Sorry, guys. They don't open the boxes.
Distribution hacking. That's what we're talking about here. You definitely created your own road. Yeah. So what I want to talk about next is I know you have an amazing team. Thanks for sharing about that. But I want to talk about, you're still super enthusiastic. You're still so in the game. What excites you now? What are your new creations? What's going on? Where are you?
Okay. So, I don't get to do as many facials anymore. I'm there for consults, but I don't have the back for it after 20 years. But I am super always thrilled to do cosmetic injections. It's very artsy fartsy for me. And I think what excites me is that if you can get up close on the camera, you can see that I do get cosmetic injections. I don't get my lips done. I'm trying to look super natural. And I am creating this idea that if you stay natural, you will stay safe. And if you stay safe, you have a lot less complications. And guess what? It's okay to look natural. At my age, where I am now, it's okay to look natural. So I love the idea of now in that space, I'm helping people to see my own ideas. Before it was acne, now it's kind of like helping these little kids. There's all these, girl, when I first did my first set of lips years ago on someone, everybody was over 35, 40, 50. Now half of my clientele is 22, 25. They can get hurt, babe. It's a scary, they can get hurt. So I'm there to coach them and talk them off the ledge. And I'm really enjoying that. Okay, I'm enjoying that. And since we've been talking, I've been thinking, I gotta get back on that book thing. I wrote the book and I wrote the real story, right? Tell all, because that's what that's what Hollywood wanted. They wanted all that stuff. I couldn't publish it because the stuff I'm most proud about is the business, the second side, the more boring side. And I let Hollywood talk me into putting stories in there about abuse, molestation, rape. And I decided the other day that F them. They don't get to be part of my story. And I deleted the whole chapter. And it felt amazing. There's enough people out there in the world that has chosen to tell their story about some asshole senator or man that disrespected them. But guess what? They are not getting a place in my book. So I deleted it. And as soon as I deleted it, because so much of it, I was concerned about my son having to read about my pain, or people that knew my son having to know those things. And I just realized they don't have to know everything, because the stuff that I'm most proud about is the stuff you really need to know, the business side of it. So I'm going to launch that book very soon, I promise you. And I want back on the big stage. I want to be up in front of audiences again, you know, and get to talk to people. I miss that.
Absolutely. And I want to go back to, first of all, applauding you for your decision with the book, because I see this trend and you're right there, if not ahead of it, where the entire multi-billion, probably quadrillion-dollar business known as wellness, including beauty, so far it has always been operating on the sickness side of things, making things, you know, just getting things back to homeostasis, back to normal. So focusing on pain points, sickness points, traumas, this, and kind of the new trend is where we're starting at a homeostasis and working into wellness, optimization, enhancement. So we're not speaking to that lowest denominator of healing and sickness and all of that. So I really like where you're coming from. Like, I don't need to tell that story. We don't need the sensationalism of it. We don't need to go that deep with it. And we're just kind of owning our successes, and that's okay, because people just want to know how you got to your highest outcome.
Yeah.
They want that information. And if they want to know, like all traumas along the way, there's plenty of that on reality TV. And I'm not sure.
And whoever else is telling their story, we are not knocking them. Big respect to people that are brave enough to do that, you know? It's just.
Well, but see, that's also like, it's like, what is your destiny? Is your destiny to become the wounded healer and tell your story through your wounds? Or is your destiny to be like lighting up people by what you do know and what you're talented by?
Yes.
So it's all according, wounded healers are fine, but it doesn't have to be a wounded story at all times.
Exactly. Thank you. I agree. Boom.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about your book, and I'm excited about you speaking more. I'm excited about you getting out. I'm excited about getting from you. I'm excited about everything you're doing. You've been such a gold high standard for so long, and you know what you're doing. You've done a great service to women and to men, and I just want to thank you and tell you that I just adore our friendship. I adore everything you're about, and it's really great to have a friend that spans this long, just holding that bar of excellence and still going for it. I just really adore you, Ann.
Thank you. I want to say too that when I pulled up just every once in a while, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just pull up your Instagram page, and I think, I don't know, maybe it was several months ago, I pulled up the page and I saw you in the mics, and I'm like, oh my God, that's it. Like, she's doing it. Like, you're still doing it. You're the most inspired. You have been inspiring me literally since day one. I just keep copying you. And I looked at that and I'm like, if she's doing it, I can do it. I can get back on that stage. I can put that little mic on my ear, and I got a ton of stuff to say. And I'm like, I'm doing it. I told Callie, I'm picking up the book. I'm going to pick it back up. And you did that still all these years later. I could just pull it up, and it just like gets me going, girl. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And listen, thank you to everyone who's listening to this mutual admiration society called Me and Ann. But it's real. It's real. And it's real, and I adore you. So thank you, Ann. Thank you, everyone. And I'm sure we'll talk again.
Okay. Bye, guys. Bye.